Today on Studio G Magazine, we have the final results of the CSUN student government elections. Plus, Lauren Stevens brings us to a place where students can relax right here on campus. And Taylor Albers follows one student as he trains for the upcoming Tough Mudder competition. All this and more coming up on Studio G Magazine.
Bringing you the news at noon.
Live over the web.
Informative.
Investigative.
And student-run.
This is Studio G Magazine on UNLV-TV.
And your show comes in 3, 2, 1. And we're live to the web.
Welcome back to Studio G Magazine. I'm Donald Woods. We start off today's show with the final results of the Student Government Executive Board elections. After a long campaign for all candidates involved, the finish line has finally arrived. Earlier this week in the Greenspun Auditorium, all the candidates took part in the final debate trying to state their cases as to why they should be elected to their respective roles. The debate featured the Rebels United ticket, consisting of Jasmine Hicks, Jordan Jackson, and the incumbent student body president, Mark Ciavola, and a war of words with the Rebel Alliance lineup of Gil Revelorio, Dustin Durbin, and presidential hopeful Cole Turner. Both presidential candidates ended their final debates taking some shots at one another.
We're not going to be the e-board that is going to miss meetings and miss an opportunity to represent our students. As Mark has in the past, he has missed NSA meetings. He has complained about the priorities that have been put on for student body president, or for the NSA's, or he's complained about the order of the NSA's priorities.
As Mr. Turner, nor his vice presidential running mate had been to any meetings last year. His vice presidential running mate still hasn't been to meetings. None of them have ever been to a Board of Regents meeting. Yet here we are today, and we're trying to determine who's most qualified for the position.
Voting has ended, and we now have a new government executive board consisting of re-elected student body president Mark Ciavola, as well as his other Rebel United ticket candidates Jasmine Hicks and Jordan Jackson. Congratulations to the winners. The Regional Transportation Commission Transit Center held its groundbreaking ceremony yesterday. Reporter Jamie Seymour was there to capture all the action.
Groundbreaking has officially begun for the UNLV Transit Center. RTC officials, as well as many public officials, were here for the groundbreaking ceremony. Construction is set to begin soon, and it should be completed by fall 2013.
Some of the public officials that came out to support the groundbreaking ceremony included Senator Harry Reid, Congresswoman Dina Titus, President Neil Samatrisk, and our very own Hey Reb. Officials let the audience know about their hopes and goals with the new transit center.
As updates become available, we will let you know.
For more information about the new transit center, visit www.rtcsnv.com. An accident involving a school bus and an electric chair happened yesterday near UNLV. Carl Winder has more.
I heard what sounded like a pretty gruesome collision.
Abraham Donis was tossing his sign when he heard a disturbing collision.
He didn't say anything, but he was breathing, but he was struggling really hard.
Now, according to Metro, a man in an electric wheelchair crossed the street on the corner of Maryland and Reno when all of a sudden a yellow school bus collided into him. The man is in critical condition right now at Sunrise Hospital.
So we're very concerned about his condition and whether or not he's going to survive the injuries that he's sustained this afternoon.
The victim was an elderly man, and Officer Richard Strider said the crosswalk where the accident happened is a busy intersection for foot traffic.
The people here use this crosswalk to go in and out of the neighborhoods and to the 7-Eleven right here across from us.
People that live near the intersection say there have been multiple close call incidences at the crosswalk. Metro said accidents like this can happen anywhere.
It just goes to tell you that it could happen anywhere. I mean, there's no actual pattern to what we see happening with these auto pedestrian collisions in our valley.
Officer Strider went on to say both pedestrians and drivers have to act responsibly and share the road.
I think it's everybody's responsibility to be safe, pedestrians and drivers.
According to the Clark County School District, there were no kids on the school bus at the time. The bus was going to an elementary school.
I've never seen that before.
Reporting for Studio G, I'm Carl Winder.
We have an update on the story. The man that was in the electric wheelchair died. He was 81 years old. This marks the 36th traffic-related fatality in Metro's jurisdiction in 2013. Well, earlier this week, Studio G reporter Alexis Mers was at the scene of another accident near the intersection of Sahara Avenue and Arville.
Like a really big noise.
Chaos ensued near the intersection of Arville and Sahara when a vehicle crossed the median, hitting two vehicles right before slamming into the Agonite.
And I parked my car just to see what happened because, you know, my car was crashed as well. And I walked towards the restaurant and the car was in there.
10 people were severely injured and rushed to the University Medical Center and Sunrise Hospital emergency rooms.
When we arrived on scene, we found 4 people underneath the car, 3 adults and 1 child. We eventually brought what would be equivalent to a 2-alarm fire worth of equipment and personnel out to the scene.
One witness was enjoying lunch with his wife when he heard the crash.
Well, me and my wife was eating at TGI Fridays across the street when we heard the loud noise or the crash, and then we immediately ran across the street, and it was just chaos everywhere. It was just blood and, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff everywhere. What I tried to do was trying to help the little boy. He was sitting there with blood all over him.
The majority of the people injured were outside eating lunch on the patio. One employee was injured during the accident. The general manager is very concerned about the health of the guests as well as her fellow employee.
It was definitely a really hard part for us was to see one of our fellow employees covered in blood.
Witnesses say things got more complicated when the driver tried to flee the scene, and police believe he may have been under the influence of alcohol or drugs.
And then he started running, and then the old man was trying to grab him, and the old man fell. So then the old man says, he's the driver, he was the driver. That's when 9 men came. They grabbed him, and we was all chasing him, but there was more men in front of me, so they grabbed him first. And that's when they took him down right here, and then that was basically it.
He is facing 10 counts of felony hit and run and 10 counts of reckless driving. As a result, the victims of this accident are facing life-threatening injuries.
We're hoping that everybody survives on this, obviously. We're going to make sure that the guy that was driving the vehicle gets punished for what he did.
For Studio G, I am Alexis Mers.
We have learned the identity of the suspect in the accident. 18-year-old Gage Lindsay was booked Tuesday at Clark County Jail on charges of driving under the influence, causing substantial bodily harm, and felony hit and run. His bail is set at $500,000. He is scheduled to appear in court on April 11th. According to Metro Police, there were no fatalities. When we come back from the break, we will have some fun places for UNLV students to visit right here on campus. Don't go anywhere. Studio G Magazine will be right back.
Hello, I'm Police Officer Paul Velez with the UNLV Police Department. What you just saw was an example of how quickly your property can be stolen here on campus. On campus, our #1 reported crime is unattended property theft. Here's some helpful tips. Always keep your property secure and on your person, and if you need to leave your property behind, ask somebody to help you and to watch your stuff while you're gone. And also, be aware of your surroundings and who's around you. And please help us keep the campus as safe as possible. Thank you.
It's convenience. It saves me a lot of money because I'm on a meal plan basically, and it saves me time because I don't have to walk across the street. It saves me gas because I don't have to drive anywhere to eat, and especially being a lazy college student, I can just walk right over here when I'm hungry and not have to wait that much longer to get food.
Free speech areas on campus have become a target for mobile trucks. Reporter Jamie Seymour has the story.
While many trends tend to come and go, a recent one to hit UNLV seems like it is here to stay. Whether you've seen the bright colors of the trucks or smelled the food cooking from inside, there's a good chance you have encountered a food truck. They have become increasingly more common on campus, including the free speech areas by the student union and the library.
I wanted to be where the people are. Initially what I wanted to do with the truck is I wanted to make it like, I wanted to create a fresh perspective on the Sidewalk Cafe. It's this such a cool and fun atmosphere, and then you don't really get that atmosphere. It's not very easy to create if there's no people. So.
The growing variety of food trucks on campus range from wings to sandwiches to meatballs and more, and provide a convenient yet different eating alternative for students who may not be near the student union or would like more of a variety than most campus dining options.
Food choices in the student union kind of get boring after a while, and all these food trucks offer something new, so it's just something to try.
Although the food trucks are in close proximity from each other, owners do not see other trucks as competition, but rather a similar cause that is unique and essentially there to serve the campus.
I don't feel like that at all. I mean, everybody has something unique that they offer, and I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool to be able to have that kind of variety and give people those options. It's exciting.
With the growing popularity of food trucks on campus, it seems like they're definitely here to stay. For Studio G, I'm Jamie Seymour.
And the arrival of food trucks on campus seems like a fun and convenient way for students to eat right here on campus. For many students, college can be a bit overwhelming, but reporter Lauren Stevens has your ticket to relaxation.
Have you recently felt stressed, struggling, looking for an escape from everyday's life's trials and tribulations? Well, then you're in luck.
Some of our students just need a place to get away, like for a migraine or something like that, and just to have a quiet spot.
The UNLV's Wellness Center, located on the second floor of the Student Recreation Center, has a solution. Massage chairs, free and available to any enrolled student who's paid their student fees. Whether you need a little rest and relaxation, a quick back rub, or a nap, this room is available at a first-come, first-served basis.
We average at least, I would say, 65 students a week using it. Some of them are in every day, some of them are in just once a week. It's very popular because it's quiet, and it relieves a lot of the tension and stress in your upper back and lower back, and sometimes people just lean back in the chairs and kick them back and take a half-hour nap. As it becomes more popular through the student population, word of mouth, you know, you tell 10 friends, they tell 10 friends, and pretty soon the whole campus is going to know. And considering that we have 3 chairs, we can't accommodate the whole campus.
You can schedule a time 24 hours in advance, or just waltz right in.
They get up to a half hour at a time in a chair.
For more information on services offered at the Wellness Center, just walk in or visit them on their website at unlv.edu/srwc. Trust me, Rebels, this is one feature you won't want to miss out on. For Studio G, I'm Lauren Stevens.
So be sure to check out the Wellness Center for more services. A new student-made movie has been created to inspire audiences to wake up and acknowledge what is happening around them. I went over spring break to find out the details. Last Wednesday, over spring break, in the Lee Barrick Museum, a free movie screening was shown of the new short film, Symbol.
I have always been fascinated by signs and patterns. They stood out to me everywhere.
Well, pretty much the character is obsessed with patterns and symbols, and he sees them everywhere, even if they're not there. Through societal pressure, decides that he's had enough and wants to get out of it.
In Symbol, the main character speaks to the audience in persuasion to wake up to their surroundings and environments in the world we live in to see the true symbols and signs of what's happening.
Well, I thought I fit the role. I mean, well, what he was looking for. I just felt like I could see, I agreed with a lot of what the character thought and felt to an extent. People, characters like this who are driven to basically insanity by, there's different elements. There's like the psychiatric drugs, and then there's just society being divided. Like he's obsessed with symbols, but I'm not obsessed with symbols, but I think there's like brainwashing going on, and people, you know, kind of just fall for this, just how they want us to think.
After the screening, a brief discussion was held and viewers got the opportunity to share their insights of the film. as well as get to speak one-on-one with the director and main actor.
Beautiful film. I liked it. I think that there's a lot buried in the subtext. I think it's one of those movies that you have to go back and keep watching. You know, there's a lot of art films that come out, but art films that are legitimately beautiful, I think are really hard to find. And this is definitely an art film that the imagery itself sort of carries you along through the story. So you don't get bored with it, you know, like a typical art film will if you can't appreciate them or if you don't appreciate them. But certainly, I thought it was good. I thought it was another winner.
For Studio G, I'm Donald Woods. And a lot of short films like Symbol are made and screened year-round by UNLV student filmmakers. The film department will be holding their annual Spring Flicks 2013 screening on April the 26th through the 28th. There you can see the latest films student filmmakers have created. UNLV athletes revealed their talents outside of sports during their first annual Student Athlete Talent Show in the Student Union.
The UNLV Student Athlete Advisory Committee put on the talent show to bring rebels from various sports closer together.
We spent a lot of time trying to create an environment so that student athletes could have more oneness. So a lot of student athletes over the years have been complaining about, I've never met the soccer team, I don't even know who's on the tennis team.
With only 2 days of rehearsal, each team had to submit a group to perform and impress the judges. The first place trophy went to the baseball team for their performance inspired by the movie Pitch Perfect.
Getting paid is a forte, each and every day, a true play away. I can't get out of my mind, I think about the girl all the time. I like the way you work it, no diggity, gotta bag it up, babe. I like the way you work it, no diggity.
I mean, it was kind of one of the most exciting things of the year. I wasn't really expecting to win, and I mean, we came out and performed well, and it was just a blast.
It's a big win because Coach said Thursday when he told us that we needed to do something for the talent show, he said we need to sweep this weekend and then sweep the talent show. We just hoped we would have fun with it and the audience would like it.
Many athletes are already preparing for the next year because if there's one thing they know how to do is compete.
The great thing about this population of students is they're extremely competitive, and so they hate losing. And so the fact that, you know, second place is the first place loser, you know, that's drilled into them. So you had a couple teams that were not excited that they didn't win, and they're like, next year.
For Studio G, I'm Maria Landeros.
Congratulations to the baseball team for their win and to all the UNLV athletes for a great show. While on Sunday, many of us were cracking open our Easter eggs, young basketball players traded in their Easter eggs to dribble on the court for a tournament. This past weekend, reporter Alexis Murs shoots us the details.
Over 200 youth basketball teams came into town to participate in the Las Vegas Easter Showdown tournament, hosted by Bigfoot Hoops. The basketball games were held all weekend long at various recreational centers across the valley.
This particular spring, we have a very high pool of teams that are high talented, if you will. We have probably the number 2, number 3 team in the country, the Houston Hoops, that will be here. They have about 7 Division I players on their team. Throughout the years of not only Vision Sports, but of Bigfoot Hoops, we've probably had about 200 or so NBA players to actually have played in our tournaments. We've had players like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, all of those guys have played in our tournaments.
This tournament makes it possible for coaches to put their own teams together despite local zoning for middle school or high school teams. Coach Uzan of the Las Vegas Knicks sees a bond in his team that most school basketball teams don't have.
Not all these kids go to school together, but they all live in the same neighborhood together. And so they've been friends for 6 years, 7 years they've been playing together. And so this is a time where they get to play together. We go out of town a lot. We do a lot of traveling. And so these kids know each other better than they know themselves, you know, and they really like it. They really like it a lot better than playing in school. So
This may seem like all fun and games, but for the youth, it is much more than that. The Bigfoot Hoops Easter Showdown is a great way for these young athletes to show their athletic ability on the court.
I hope to make it to NBA. That's all I want to do. I really don't have a backup plan. This is like my thing. I'm doing this.
I'll do anything to succeed in basketball.
The Easter Showdown tournament might be over, but Bigfoot Hoops will be back in April, and that is when these basketball star hopefuls will have the shot to impress college scouts.
If you would like to keep up with the upcoming Bigfoot Hoops tournaments, go to bigfoothoops.com for the 2013 tournament schedule. Coming up, our reporters will show some fun ways to be active on campus and in the community.
Where is the moment we needed the most? You kick up the leaves and the magic is lost. Tell me your blue skies fade to gray. Tell me your passion's gone away. And I don't need no carrying on. You stand in the line just to hit a new low. You're faking a smile with the coffee to go. And tell me your life's been way offline. You fall into pieces every time. And I don't need no carrying on. 'Cause you had a bad day.
Welcome back from the break. Tough Mudder is a 12-mile off-road marathon with obstacle courses that are designed to test your physical and mental strength. Reporter Taylor Albers follows one student to the gym to see if he's prepared for competing for his first time.
With only a week until Tough Mudder begins right outside of Las Vegas, participants like Jerry Noel are going through last-minute preparations to get in shape.
So far, I try and make it at least 2 or 3 times a week. I try to go to the gym once. I would run in the park and, just generally make sure my body is ready.
Jerry uses the Student Recreation and Wellness Center right here on campus.
So what I like to do, it's called a burnout. You run a lap upstairs in the gym, then you go do 5 pull-ups, then you do leg stuff. You keep on doing that until you basically burn out. After like a month of working, I can do this. And this.
But as former participant Ismail Diva knows, it's not just about physical preparation.
A lot of things that I did learn was not quitting, never giving up, and that I saw a lot of that come into play during Tough Mudder. It was basically the same mentality that I had going through my training in the military.
Tough Mudder's website states 3 facts. Marathon running is boring, mudders do not take themselves too seriously, and you cannot complete a Tough Mudder course alone.
Hopefully my teammates will be able to push me if I end up crashing, or actually I had one really cool dude say if I ended up dying during the run, he will pick me up and finish the run with me on his back. That was pretty cool.
And it was exactly that type of camaraderie that Ismail experienced last year.
There was one particular obstacle. It was the Berlin Walls. I was way too short to get up there, and I didn't have the vertical jump to climb up by myself. I needed one of my teammates to give me a boost to get up there and lift myself up.
Which means that Jerry's goal is not just about crossing the finish line.
It's about helping others as well. I want to see how many of my teammates I can help across that line. When I cross the finish line, if in my mind's like, I help this one other person get through this one obstacle, I think I'll achieve what I came for.
For Studio G at UNLV, I'm Taylor Albers.
The event will take place next weekend just outside of Las Vegas in Beatty. We wish a successful and safe competition to all mudders. There is always an opportunity to take a traditional game and experience it on a whole nother level. I checked out a new laser tag venue that was definitely a blast. The arena in town enhances the game of laser tag to a multi-level combat scenery designed to simulate actual combat.
Battle Blast Laser Tag is a new laser tag family fun facility here in Las Vegas. We have a large 2-level, 2-story laser tag arena. We have a large 40 vest laser tag system, allows large groups of people to play at one time.
Rhonda Mikologic wanted to create a realistic city setting so players can feel like they're transformed into a war-torn city.
Well, each building has its own look on the inside of it. One building is a library, one building is a art museum, art gallery, pictures, hanging on the walls. One is a coffee shop, all kinds of furniture, chairs stacked up, that kind of thing. Adds a little bit of interest as you go around in the game that every time you go into a building, it each has a different look to it.
Also including an arcade, party rooms, and ticket prizes, Rhonda is hoping to make Battle Blast Laser Tag a family-oriented hotspot in Las Vegas.
I mean, definitely it seems that there are people who repeat and come back quite a bit. We have those people who just love it and who come once a week. So we are still trying to spread our name and get our name out there. We have new people all the time who come in, and I had no idea you guys were here. So, at this point, we're being so new, we're still trying to get our name out there so that more people do know about us.
For Studio G, I'm Donald Woods. The Kappa Sigma fraternity on campus held their annual Boot Camp Philanthropy event earlier this week to raise money for the Greater Cause Foundation, which distributes contributions to the organizations such as Fisher House, United Blood Services, Locks of Love, and St. Baldrick's.
Kappa Sigma holds their Boot Camp Philanthropy every year, but this time they're changing things up.
We usually do like a serious obstacle course with like a boot camp workout place in Las Vegas, but it didn't work out this time, so we have a bounce house.
So instead of climbing up hand-blistering rope and crawling through thick mud, participants will be bouncing their way to charity.
We donate all the money raised to the Intrepid Fallen Hero Fund. So what it does is it builds houses next to military hospitals for the families of wounded soldiers to be there with them in time of need.
All 6 sororities on campus are participating in the fraternity's events in hopes of winning and raising money, but even the brothers of Kappa Sigma are looking forward to the obstacle course.
I am excited for that thing right there, the blow-up obstacle course, because oh my gosh, you can feel like you're 5 years old again while raising money to help the wounded warriors.
The K-Sig Boot Camp will continue today at Northfield and include hair and blood donations, a skit, and soccer in between.
I want this event to be more fun. Like I do want to raise more money, but I'm not really not solely concerned about money as much as just having everyone come out and having a good time.
For Studio G at UNLV, I'm Taylor Albers.
The Boot Camp Philanthropy had a lot of participation and friendly competition from Greek life at UNLV and was ultimately won for the 4th year in a row by sorority Sigma Kappa. Congrats and keep up the good work. Well, after serving our country, many veterans now need a help. Reporter Maria Landeros has more.
Hundreds of United States veterans are leaving war zones and coming home to face a new battle, staying off the streets. During the 10th annual Veteran Stand Down event, over 100 service providers and volunteers showed their appreciation for homeless veterans in Las Vegas.
We've had a little over 500 veterans come through our door and seeking services. We've had a few of them housed, and we've even had some get employment right on the spot. We have places for them to get interviews, showers, haircuts, get their suit from Goodwill. Let's get these guys housed tonight. Not next week, but tonight.
U.S. Vets is a nonprofit organization that provides support to veterans and their families through counseling, housing, and career development. Their goal is to help these men and women get back on their feet.
People sometimes forget to stop and take a moment to just say, okay, you're a fellow human being, let me talk to you, figure out how I can help. Some of the veterans they're so polite and just very nice, kind people, and they're very grateful for what's happening today to Goodwill and everybody that's involved in the stand down.
U.S. Vets hopes others remember that these men and women fought for our country. Regardless of their current situation, anyone can always lend a hand.
I don't think anybody really wants to live on the street. If you can help out a vet, remember that they did do this for you, for the country. I think it's just something that is missing in our society that we kind of forget about individuals that have given and try to help the country grow. So give them what they really deserve.
Despite of the many struggles, some veterans may have just found the resources they needed for a new beginning.
It's great. I'm loving it. Got some things taken care of legally. Actually, they threw it out.
For Studio G, I'm Maria Landeros.
Well, that's all the recaps we have for this week's edition. I'm Donald Woods. Thank you for joining us at Studio G Magazine, and tune in next week for the top stories of the week. Have a great day, Las Vegas.
I was taking a trip out to L.A., tooling along in my Chevrolet, toking on a number and digging on the radio.